Have you ever noticed how a tiny seed of doubt can eventually break even the strongest wall? I understand you might be questioning your own certainty. This strategy is about small actions over time, like water slowly wearing away stone, to subtly shift someone's perspective. Negative assumptions quietly reside in our minds, and by gently stirring them, you can prompt deep, reflective change. A small nudge like whisper or silence can make someone pause, reassess their beliefs, or to share their vulnerabilities. Psychological insights, such as those from Tversky and Kahneman, reveal that our thoughts are surprisingly delicate and can be swayed by minor provocations. Over time, these tiny, deliberate shifts can erode the rigid structures of certainty, guiding outcomes without overt force. This is not about deception. It's about opening a space for introspection and change. Just as a single drop of water eventually wears down stone, a small seed of doubt can transform even the most steadfast convictions. Whether you want to treat someone, check their loyalty, or gain leverage over them, this video is for you. Disclaimer: viewer discretion is advisable. We share the knowledge, and you decide what to do with it. But for the love of God, don't use it to harm anyone. This video is for entertainment purposes only. The shadow of stillness. What if victory lies not in motion, but in the spaces between? You've felt it before, the urge to act, to prove, to dominate. But true power begins in silence, in the unseen currents beneath the surface. The world rewards noise, yet the Stoics understood. Control is born not from chaos, but from stillness. To shift the game, you must first dissolve into it. Become the unobserved observer. Like a shadow at noon, your presence fades until others forget you exist. Ancient warriors called this Hejusian, ordinary mind. Act without urgency. Let your movements blur into the background until you are indistinguishable from the environment itself. They cannot fight what they do not perceive. Here's how to cloak your ambition. 1. Let their arrogance blind them. People reveal secrets when they believe no one is listening. Nod, smile, and say less. The quieter you are, the louder their vulnerabilities echo. A 2016 study in psychological science found that individuals overestimate their control in silent environments, leading to reckless decisions. Use their certainty against them to feed their distractions. Praise their strengths until they fixate on defending them. A tree bending in a storm survives by letting the wind exhaust itself. Similarly, fuel their focus on trivial battles. While they guard their pride, you claim the unguarded territory. 3. Become the void. Nature abhors emptiness. Humans rush to fill it. Leave gaps in conversation, strategy, or emotion. Watch as they stumble to explain your silence, projecting their fears onto your blank slate. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Let theirs betray them. Weakness masquerades as strength. The loudest voice in the room is often the most fragile. By contrast, stillness is a mirror. It reflects their instability back at them. When you refuse to play their game, their rules crumble. This is not passivity. It is strategic erosion. A river carves canyons not by force, but by persistence. You need not break your opponent, only outlast their awareness. The first move is never yours. It is theirs, made in ignorance. While you wait in the calm eye of the storm, ask yourself, what do they see when they look at you? If the answer is nothing, you've already won. Capture the perception. Who controls the story controls the world. But what if the story is an illusion? You know the weight of a lie wrapped in truth. Stories shape reality, not facts. The Stoics whispered of fantasy, impressions, not truths. To master the game, you must spin the thread before others notice the loom. Reality bends to the teller. A man is a hero or a fool, based on who describes his deeds. In 1981, psychologists Tversky and Kahneman revealed the framing effect. Humans choose based on context, not content. A glass half empty triggers lack, half full inspires gratitude. The lesson: control the frame, and you control the choice. Here's how to weave their truth. Anchor their emotions first. Fear, hope, envy. These are your needles. Before presenting a fact, attach it to a feeling. Say, this could save us, not this might work. Emotion stains logic, and stained logic becomes their logic. Bury the seed, hide the hand. Share a personal story about a friend who failed by ignoring advice, or succeeded by trusting it. Let them connect the dots. As Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Plant the view, not the thing. Rewrite resistance. If they doubt your narrative, agree, then pivot. You're right. This seems risky, but isn't stagnation riskier? Reframe their doubt as a stepping stone to your conclusion. The human mind craves resolution. Give it a path that ends with your goal. Weakness thrives in certainty. The louder someone declares their truth, the harder they'll cling to it. Your power lies in fluidity. Be the quiet voice that says, unless, or what if. A 2008 study in Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that tentative language might, possibly, increases persuasion. It disarms suspicion. This is not deception. It is philosophical aikido, using their biases to guide them toward sharper clarity. The Stoics sought to see the world as it is, but you show them the world as it could be. A single thread, pulled gently, unravels a tapestry. Ask yourself, what story are they telling about you? If you don't hold the pen, you're already a character in someone else's plot. The weightless lever. What if the greatest force isn't a strike, but a whisper repeated until it becomes a roar? You've seen how empires rise, not by earthquakes, but by the drip of rain on stone. Power grows in the unnoticed. The Stoics revered logos, the hidden order beneath chaos. To move others, you don't push. You align with the gravity of their habits, fears, and routines. Small shifts unmake mountains. In 1968, psychologist Robert Zijunk discovered the mirror exposure effect. Familiarity breeds comfort. Repeat an idea, a gesture, or a phrase subtly, and it seeps into the subconscious, like water into cracks. Soon, it feels inevitable. They'll call it destiny, not manipulation. Here's how to bend momentum without touch. 1. Normalize the unnatural. Introduce change as a return to how things should be. A leader don't just say, "Follow me." They murmur aggressively, "Remember when we were respected, what we were. Let's reclaim that." Nostalgia masks revolution. 2. Chain reactions, not explosions. Leave a book on their desk. Mention a name in passing. Laugh at their joke, a beat too long. These are pebbles, dropped into a pond. The ripples do the work. As Seneca warned, no evil is without its reward. Let their curiosity become the reward. 3. Let time betray them. Humans adapt to slow erosion. A 1997 study in organizational behavior found that employees accepted drastic policy changes if introduced incrementally over months. Apply this to relationships, negotiations, or rivalries. Today's compromise is tomorrow's surrender. Weakness clings to urgency. The desperate rush. The wise linger. When you slow the game, you expose their hunger for quick wins, their Achilles heel. A Stoic knows, urgency is the mask of fear. Refuse to wear it. This is not patience, it is temporal alchemy. You turn seconds into sieges. A single sentence, repeated across weeks, becomes their idea. A frown withheld becomes a debt they feel but cannot name. The lever moves nothing until the fulcrum is placed, and the fulcrum is always their need for normalcy. Ask yourself, what harmless habit could unravel their certainty? The answer lies not in force, but in the weightless persistence of a shadow climbing a wall at dusk. the quiet erosion. What if the strongest walls crumble, not by force, but by the patient sigh of the wind? You've watched others exhaust themselves building fortresses of ego, ambition, or control. Decay is inevitable. Your role is to become its architect. The Stoics spoke of amor fati, love of fate. Here, fate is not destiny, but the silent laws of entropy. Let time and their own flaws dismantle what you need not touch. Resistance fuels its own demise. In 2013, a Harvard study on decision fatigue revealed that the mentally drained cling harder to failing strategies, mistaking stubbornness for strength. Like a moth circling a flame, their persistence becomes self-destruction. Why fight when you can let them burn? Here's how to weaponize inertia. 1. Feed their obsession. Praise their victories until they chase validation like addicts. Gambler doubles bets to recover losses. A leader doubles down on bad decisions to prove competence. Nudge them toward cliffs they've already chosen. 2. Become the echo of their doubts. When they hesitate, reflect it. You're right, this is risky, but you've handled worse. Twist their uncertainty into arrogance. A 1975 Stanford experiment showed that people given false confidence took 300% more risks and often failed. Let their pride calcify into blindness. You can use their failure into your path to success. 3. Let storms wear them thin. The oak breaks in hurricanes. The reed survives by bending. Withhold opposition. Instead, ask, what if you go further? Their own momentum becomes the chisel carving their downfall. Weakness is a debt compounded by time. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Your power lies in absence, not of action, but of investment." While they pour energy into battles you quietly stoked, you conserve yours for the final move. This is not indifference. It is strategic decay. The Romans salted Carthage's fields to ensure nothing grew. You let their choices salt their own. A crack ignored becomes a canyon. A doubt unaddressed becomes a collapse. Ask yourself, what are they clinging to that's already rotting? The answer is your lever. Pull nothing. Wait. Gravity always wins. The reflection gambit. What if control lies not in command, but in becoming their echo? To steer others, you must first become their shadow. The Stoics mastered oixis, the art of aligning with nature. Here, nature is human instinct. Reflect their rhythms, and they'll mistake your strategy for kinship. Trust is a chisel. In 1999, psychologists Chartrand and Barg uncovered the chameleon effect. Mimicry breeds liking. Subtly mirrors speech patterns, gestures, or values, and defenses crumble. They'll call it empathy. You'll call it access. Here's how to weaponize reflection. 1. Become their echo, not their rival. Nod when they rant. Repeat their phrases with a pause, as if their words sparked revelation. So you're saying, trust is earned. The closer you mirror, the more they see you as an ally. Or worse, a disciple. 2. Validate, to infiltrate. Agree with their criticisms, then deepen them. You're right, the system is rigged. But what if we exploit it? A 2012 study in social influence found that validation increases susceptibility to persuasion by 40%. Their guard drops, your seeds take root. 3. Let them script your role. If they crave a hero, play it. If they fear a villain, dangle the illusion. Like water in a vase, adopt their shape until they forget you're separate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Adapt yourself to the things among which your lot has been cast. Adapt not to survive, but to absorb." This is what Robert Greene says in The Last Law of 48 Laws of Power, the greatest power of Sigma. Search the playlist for this one. Weakness clings to recognition. The desperate want to be seen. The wise reflect. By echoing their desires, you become the silent conductor of their orchestra. They play the music. You set the tempo. This is not imitation, it is strategic resonance. A mirror shows no face of its own, yet decides which light to bend. When you reflect their ideals back, polished and magnified, they chase the image. Unaware, you control the glass. Ask yourself, what do they need to see in you? Give them the reflection, and they'll hand you the strings. The Kairos Paradox. What if the secret to victory lies not in speed, but in the stillness between ticks of the clock? You've felt time's tyranny, the pressure to act, to decide, to win. Yet power blooms in the gaps others ignore. The Stoics, revered Kairos, the opportune moment, hidden like a blade in the folds of chaos. Master this, and you turn their haste into your ally. Time is a pendulum, control its swing. In 2001, neuroscientists at Stanford found that rushed decisions activate primal fear centers, clouding judgment. Those who panic, lose. Those who pause, rewrite endings. Your patience is their prison. Here's how to weaponize the unwatched hour. 1. Let deadlines haunt them. Create artificial scarcity. This offer expires Friday, tightens throats, not yours. A 2010 study in Journal of Consumer Research showed that time-limited choices spike impulsivity by 70%. Watch as they grasp at shortcuts, leaving their long game in ruins. 2. Become the tempo setter. Delay responses. Arrive late. Hesitate just enough to unsettle. Like a metronome, you dictate rhythm. Their frustration becomes focus, on your terms. Seneca warned, life is long, if you know how to use it. Use theirs for them. 3. Ambush the exhausted. Push negotiations past midnight. Let fatigue soften their resolve. Ancient generals starved foes before attacking. Modern ones drain focus. A tired mind agrees to terms it would scorn at dawn. 4. Reward waiting, punish rushing. Praise their patience when they yield to your timeline. Shame their recklessness when they rebel. Soon, they'll conflate speed with shame, stillness with virtue, your virtue. Weakness festers in urgency. The Stoic knows, time is not lost, only spent. While others chase seconds, you harvest their desperation. A 1996 study on chess masters revealed that the longest pauses preceded the deadliest moves. Silence isn't inaction, it's the coiled strike. This is not patience, it is Chronos' alchemy. You transmute their seconds into traps, their minutes into mazes. The hourglass favors no one until you tilt it. Ask yourself, where do they rush when afraid? Race there first, then wait. The trophy goes not to the swift, but to the one who lets time erode the finish line. The fractured mirage. What if clarity is the enemy, and confusion your sharpest tool? You've seen how certainty chains minds. 2 plans, 2 pride, 2 predictable paths. Ambiguity is the solvent. The Stoics practiced apatheia, freedom from destructive passions, not by avoiding chaos, but by mastering it. To destabilize others, you don't lie. You obscure. Uncertainty paralyzes more than fear. In 1961, Daniel Ellsberg's paradox revealed humans prefer known risks, 50% high risk, over ambiguous ones, unknown odds, even when the latter can favor them more. Why? The mind craves anchors. Remove them, and watch logic drown. Here's how to weaponize the unseen. 1. Replace answers with echoes. When pressed for clarity, respond with questions. What do you think is fair, or how would you define success? A 2009 study in judgment and decision-making found that ambiguous guidance increases anxiety, making people desperate for any leader, even a silent one. 2. Dilute their reality. Introduce contradictory truths. The data supports both approaches, or your idea has merit, but so does theirs. Like smoke in a hallway, they'll slow down, second guess, and misstep. Marcus Aurelius wrote, Everything is fluid. Shape your own. Let their confusion shape your advantage. 3. Reward doubt, punish conviction. Praise flexibility in those who waver. Shame stubbornness in those who act decisively. Soon, hesitation becomes their default. A trapped wolf chews its leg off. A trapped mind surrenders its will. Weakness clings to maps. The Stoic thrives in fog. When you refuse to declare a path, others project their fears onto your silence. Their assumptions become your puppets. This is not deception. It is strategic erosion of certainty. Like a sculptor chiseling negative space, you shape outcomes by what you don't clarify. A desert mirage lures not by showing water, but by letting thirst invent it. Ask yourself, what truths can you omit to let their doubts fill the void? Answer isn't a lie. It's the art of holding up a fractured mirror. Their reflection does the rest. The bartered burden. What if surrender is not defeat, but a trade for greater ground? You've watched others cling to scraps of power, mistaking possession for control. True dominance lies not in what you hold, but in what you release. Stoics practiced ascesis, voluntary discomfort to master desire. Here, sacrifice becomes currency. Give to take, lose to win. Loss aversion is your lever. In 1984, Kahneman and Tversky's research proved humans fear losing $100, twice as much as they value gaining it. This terror of scarcity chains them to fragile gains. Your willingness to discard frees you. Here's how to turn surrender into siege. 1. Sacrifice the symbolic. Relinquish a title, a trivial win, or public credit. Like a hunter leaving bait, make your loss visible. A 2009 study in Negotiation Journal found that parties who conceded first often gained disproportionate leverage later. Let their greed blind them to the trap. 2. Provoke protective instincts. Abandon a project you never wanted. I trust you to handle this. Now they guard it, wasting resources on what you deemed expendable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to not be like your enemy. Be unlike them, unburdened." 3. Let their grip become your grip. When they seize what you discarded, they inherit its weight. A throne is heavy, a crown cuts the brow. You keep your hands free. To steer, to strike, to reshape the board. Weakness hoards, strength redistributes. The Stoic knows, attachment breeds vulnerability. By shedding the non-essential you control what others think they control. This is not retreat. It is strategic dispossession. The Zen archer draws the bow to release the arrow. You draw their greed to release your agenda. Harvard study revealed that CEOs who delegate high-risk tasks retain influence while avoiding blame. The lesson: what you no longer hold, you no longer owe. Ask yourself, what burden can you lose that others will fight to claim? The answer is your silent victory. While they stagger under borrowed weight, you walk lighter, faster, carrying only what matters. The forged crucible. What if chaos isn't your enemy, but the anvil on which you shaped victory? You've seen others flee from friction, mistaking peace for power, but fire tempers steel. The Stoics embraced sympathia, interconnectedness of all things, including conflict. To dominate, you don't avoid storms. You become the blacksmith, hammering chaos into purpose. Crisis is a lens. A 2017 study in Journal of Applied Psychology found that stress amplifies ingrained habits. The disciplined grow sharper, the reckless unravel. Let chaos sort allies from liabilities. Here's how to turn turbulence into a forge. Stoke contained fires. Ignites small, manageable conflicts. A disputed budget, a vague rumor. Like a controlled burn, these distractions clear the field for your true aims. A 2004 Harvard study revealed that teams embroiled in minor disputes overlook systemic power shifts. Their focus on flames blinds them to the arsonist. Let adversity reveal loyalty. Withhold support during a fabricated crisis. Watch who scrambles, who blames, who leads. Seneca wrote, difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Except here, the labor is your test. Those who pass become pawns. Those who fail become lessons. Turn their resilience against them. Praise their grit. Only you can fix this. Flattery morphs into obligation. Soon, they shoulder burdens that drain their resources while you conserve yours. Marcus Aurelius warned, the impediment becomes the way. Let their way become your shortcut. Weakness hides in comfort. The Stoic thrives in dissonance. When you refuse to flinch at chaos, others mistake your calm for weakness, until they're choking on the smoke of their own panic. This is not recklessness. It is strategic conflagration. A forest fire raises old growth to make room for new. You control the spark. Let them fight phantom battles while you claim the scorched earth. Ask yourself, what chaos can you ignite that they'll mistake for fate? The answer is your hammer. Strike and reshape the game in the heat of their distraction. The eternal ascent. What if the endgame isn't victory, but making victory irrelevant? You've climbed ladders, outmaneuvered rivals, and seized power, only to find the throne hollow. True dominance isn't held, it's radiated. The Stoics sought eudaimonia, flourishing through virtue. Virtue can be a powerful weapon. When you transcend the game, others fight to crown you. Legacy is a self-writing myth. In 2014, neuroscientists discovered post-rationalization. Humans rewrite memories to fit narratives they admire. Become the narrative, and they'll retrofit their actions to serve your legend. You don't rule, you haunt. Here's how to ascend beyond reach. 1. Become inevitable. Align your goals with forces no one dares challenge. Tradition, progress, survival. A CEO doesn't say, "Follow me." They say, "The market demands this." A 2020 study in Leadership Quarterly found that leaders framing decisions as historical necessity faced 60% less resistance. Let history carry you. 2. Share no vulnerabilities, no hobbies, no petty grievances. Be a symbol, not a person. Like a mountain, you weather storms because you're perceived as eternal. 3. Let others enforce your silence. Withdraw from debates. Your absence becomes a vacuum they fill with speculation. A 2018 Yale experiment showed that subjects attributed 40% more wisdom to silent leaders than vocal ones. The less you say, the more they invent. Weakness kneels to mortality. The Stoic knows all empires fall, but legends outlive stone. When you fuse your name to ideals, justice, innovation, power, you die, but the idea marches on. This is not strategy. It is existential alchemy. You transmute flesh into myth. Like the tide, you need not command the shore. Your mere presence reshapes it. Ask yourself, what will they defend in your name long after you're gone? The answer is your immortality. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery here is surrender to the role they need you to play. The game ends when you stop keeping score. Rise until the board shrinks to a speck beneath you. Victory is for players. Legends are for poets. The choice is simple. Master the rules, manipulate the board, and take control, or be controlled. Because in the end, power isn't given, it's taken. Master these 10 strategies, and you won't just participate in the game, you'll own it. Thanks for watching.